Okay, let's start with the second philosophical question. Where are we from? Well, babies would say, we hopped out of mommy's tummy. Or science geeks would say, we were born out of the bane of the universe. Well, these lines of inquiry are too unscientific. Let's go a little bit mythical.
If we trace all the way back to the very beginning of human civilization and go into the mind of our ancestors, we will hear different stories. You may recall the story of Nuwa, the goddess who molded human figures out of the yellow clay and gave them life and the ability to bear children. Or the giant Pangu, who pushed apart the heavens and the earth as he grew by precisely 10 feet per day. Yet, on the other side of the globe, it's a totally different story. You might recall the hand of God, the Father, that reached out to give life to the first human, Adam, or the companion posture of God, the Creator, when he pointed and created the sun and the moon. While one image is full of love and affection, the other is filled with might and power. And God is the one who makes all this possible.
As clear-cut as they are, creation myths have a lot more to tell, especially when we put the Chinese and the big new versions together.
The first issue is what the world was like in the very beginning. In many stories, such as those in Greek mythology or Egyptian civilization, it is chaos, or formless state that comes before the cosmos. So is the same in China, as is shown in the myth of Pangu. The heavens and the earth were mingled together, and the universe was chaotic, just like a chicken egg. What makes Judeo-Christian tradition distinctive is the conception of the cosmos not as chaos, but simply void, nothing. It is through God that the universe came into being. So, biblical creation is creation ex nihilo, that is, creation out of nothing. In fact, the basic meaning of the word create implies that there was nothing and then there was something. Or chaos, if there is any, is also created by God. By comparison, here comes the second question. Is there also a creator in Chinese tradition as well? Some would say yes. Look at Nuwa. She made humans out of earth. Or look at Pangu. It seems that he created the sun and the moon directly out of his left eye and right eye. Well, both of them can be called creators of some sort. But if we think it twice, you may get a different picture. How did Pangu come into being in the first place? And what about the world that seemed ready for him before he could do all the creation work? These questions point to the creative force lying behind everything that we see today. And it is not God. Then what is it? The secret lies in the metaphor. The chaotic state is like an egg. If the cosmos were an egg, then somewhere within the chaos, an incubating process was going on, and when it was finally complete, the egg hatched. Of course, the universe was not an egg. Nevertheless, some organizing principle was there, waiting the right moment to begin the transformation. And when time came, the chaos broke apart. The lighter, most pure substances floated upward and became the heavens. The heavier, more impure substances descended and became the earth. Pangu was also born within this transformation. This is the Taoist explanation of the universe. Like other cultures, it shows that at the root of human experience is the belief that our world has an organizing principle. The ultimate expression of this principle is recorded in Dao De Jing as Dao. With this creative force, everything else takes a form of opposing forces. Heaven and earth, black and white, day and night, good and evil. These are the ideas of the yang and yin, of the masculine and feminine. This is the Chinese story. In contrast, biblical myth of the world is supernatural. Creation, after all, is a miracle. Nevertheless, millions of Westerners have taken it as truth without doubt. Whereas for Chinese, the stories of Pangu and Nuwa remain optional. What lies underneath is a naturalistic understanding of the cosmos. Back to our topic. Now, creation myths have shown what our surroundings look like. They are at the very beginning a chaos or a void, and what everything comes into being has a naturalistic or supernatural explanation. After humans come into this picture, what does the creation myth say about humans and their surroundings? We might get some clues from how humans were born. In Genesis, humans are depicted as a special creation. But how? Do you know when was human created? The first human, Adam, was created in the last working day of God, after everything was ready for him to come. Time and space, land and sea, plants and animals, fish and birds. Do you know what was human made of? Yes, dust. Dust looks very insignificant, but being a matter, it is special enough. It shows that at least human was created out of something, albeit a humble one. This is in stark contrast with what other things were created. In Genesis 1, we would read a series of "and God said" statements. The Creator spoke things into existence. Everything else came into being simply by the word of the Creator. Do you know what did human look like? Well, the first human, Adam, is the finest creation of God, the creation that resembles God's image, the creation that is given life as God breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. Being such a special creation, humans carry a special mission. In Genesis 1, God blessed Adam and Eve. Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it. Have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves on the earth. This is often quoted by some radical environmentalists as an evidence that God is anti-environment, because he gives man free rein to do anything he wants to the planet for his own benefit. But if we read further, we can see God give further instruction in Genesis 2. Then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to tend and keep it. Tend, to work or serve. Keep, to take care of, guard. This greatly modifies the force of have dominion and subdue from Genesis 1. In a word, God did give man dominion over all other life on the earth. He gave mankind the chance to use and preserve the resources he had provided, but certainly God did not give man the authority to degrade or destroy his earth. For humans, with the authority comes an implicit responsibility to tend and keep what was explicitly given to Adam. This is what it is to say humans are stewards of nature. In contrast, humans in Chinese stories don't have a special or dominant status. We know that when Pangu died, his body was transformed into various parts of the earth, the celestial bodies, the landscape, etc. But what about humans? They come from the fleas and parasites living on his body. How humble they are. This is apparently not what Chinese people would be happy to accept, and is also part of the reasons that we are happier to retell the story of Nuwa making human out of clay. This story, however, is often interpreted as showing that humans and their surroundings are so inseparable from each other because they have the same origin. Pangu was born together with heavens and earth, subject to the organizing principle of the universe, and everything else was not born out of nowhere, but was transformed from the body parts of Pangu. The transformation is also subject to the organizing principle of the universe. This tight connection means that no priority is given to either side, man or nature. No one is superior. Instead, it implies a moral reason for humans to approach nature not as a thing to be mastered, and the goal is to become a natural part of the original order.
In this part, we have tried to read through creation stories to see what the place of human beings is in relationship with everything around them.
Western tradition sees humans as distinct from other things. Hence, under the biblical influence, humans were widely regarded in the medieval Europe as stewards of nature. In contrast, For Chinese, the world is a complete and complex organism. Therefore, humans are also part of this system, and what surrounds us are resourceful but not exploitative. This difference can be traced back to the creative force behind everything that exists, supernatural in Bible, God, and naturalistic in China, such as Tao for Taoists. For them and many Chinese in general, rather than being created out of nothing, the world evolved into its current condition of complexity out of a prior state of simplicity and differentiation. The cosmos continues to change, but there is a consistent pattern of that change that is discernible to human beings.
This pattern is modeled as yin-yang correlative system, based on the very basic stuff out of which all things are made, qi. We'll see how they work next time.